not so much. So imagine you're walking out of the supermarket carrying 3 bags of groceries, and then you drop one of them in the parking lot before going home. You might think that's crazy because who would waste that much perfectly good food? But the truth is, the United States throws away 1/3 of our food each year, or 1 in 3 grocery bags. That's the issue that Compostology, our youth-led nonprofit, was founded on. When I started middle school, my partner, Avika, and I wanted to make an environmental impact in our schools, and in high school, we wanted to do it as they were reopening after the pandemic. But the question was, where? The answer lied within our own school system. In my school system, Montgomery County Public Schools, 1 in 3 children receive free or reduced price meals that oftentimes account for their breakfast or lunch. But that doesn't necessarily account for their dinner or their entire family's well-being. When we researched examples outside of Maryland to alleviate the issue of wasted food in schools, we landed on starting a composting and food recovery program during the most exciting part of any student's day, lunch. After convincing our first school to begin a program, I went out to guide students during lunch, and as Advika and I and our other volunteers walked around from table to table in the bright and bustling cafeteria, I got to know the students who were there and also answer questions about the program. Listening to them, I realized that so many students possess an untapped enthusiasm and eagerness to partake in a new program that protects the environment that they learn about every day in science class, and they go out to play in during recess. But even more, it helps with the paradox that we face in our own school cafeterias, where you can have students who go home to an empty refrigerator, sitting feet away from trash cans that are filled to the brim with food that's oftentimes unopened and perfectly edible. And so, since then, we've worked with administration, staff, students, and parents at 24 schools to start our composting and food recovery programs. Yet what I honestly didn't necessarily expect from the very beginning was the power of schools to be hubs of community-wide change. Like the ripple effect, practices that we introduced and showed to students became that much easier for parents and entire families to institute. And through our newsletters and educational materials, teachers and parents began questioning how they could join in. And soon we were connecting them with our haulers and government leaders to bring our programs to their own homes. One of the greatest realizations I've had from this process is the power of youth as decision makers. Although we may not be the ones sitting in legislatures and signing off on bills, we have the power to institutionalize practices that will impact our future. To pass a Maryland bill to fund schools in starting their own programs, oftentimes ones that receive Title I funding, we tapped into students' passion by launching a postcards campaign to directly tell legislators why their constituents, students, care. And as I read postcards from kindergartners coloring pictures of thriving wildlife and humans living together in harmony, to high schoolers talking about the impact that food insecurity has on their everyday lives, we realized that the power of students is not in just being the leaders of tomorrow, but being the leaders of today. And when the bill passed with bipartisan support in the Maryland House and Senate, it was a testament to not only our countless written and oral testimonies from Compostology leadership, but also the 16,000 students across 77 schools who took 5 minutes out of their day to write a postcard and stand together with us. Today, I challenge each one of us to doubt the societal norms that we accept as everyday convention. Whether it's as small as whether to buy that extra bag of chips we know we'll never finish, or going to our city council and state legislature to advocate for saving our daily food, we each have the agency to take our future on. So before I go, I just want to say some quick thank yous to the Earth Island Institute for organizing these awards, as well as my fellow peers, the Broward Youth Awardees, who I know I'll be looking on Instagram to see what great things they do in the future as well. And then I also want to give a special shout out to my partner, Chaim Advika, who never fails to surprise me with her ingenuity and geniusness. Thank you all.